Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Govinda Radha Govinda Radhe Jaya Radha Govinda Radha Govinda Radhe Jaya Giri Govardhan Giri Govardhan Giri Govardhan Jaya Giri Govardhan Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Baladeva Jaya Subhadra Jaya Goranitai, 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 Jaya Goranitai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada. Gaur Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol, Jaya Om Vishnupad, Paramahansa, Padarajak, Acharya, Saraswati Sri Sriman. ISKCON BBT founder, Charles Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nitya Leela Prabhishta Om Vishnupad Divine Grace, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Ki Jai, Nam Acharya. Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai, Prem Se Kaho, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu, Nityananda, Shri Advaita, Gadadhara, Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopana, Shamakunda, Radha Kunda, Gira Govardhan Ki Jai. Shri Brajabhumi Namadam Ki Jai, Shri Navadip Mayapur Dham Ki Jai, Shri Lachal Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai, Gangamayi Ki Jai, Jamunamayi Ki Jai, Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Shrimati Tulsi Maharani Ki Jai. It was beautiful Lordship, Shri Shri Radha Govinda Ki Jai, Shri Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Ki Jai, Shri Giriraj Govardhan Ki Jai, Shri Shri Gauritai Ki Jai, Samaveta Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Going back to home, back to Godhead Ki Jai, ISKCON New York Yatra Ki Jai. Brihad Badanga Transcendental Book Distribution Ki Jai, International Food for Life Transcendental Prasadam Distribution Ki Jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai, Shri Radhastami Ki Jai, the parents of the divine, loving, transcendental mother of everyone, Srimati Radharani Ki Jai. And we should remember that, especially today. This is Radharani's house that we're living in. When I heard that a whole bunch of devotees were going away and they weren't planning to come back till Monday, I said, what? You're running the risk of taking off Radharani by not being present in the temple for her appearance day. So I think they changed their plans. They're going to be back by 4 o'clock today. So on this auspicious day, Radhastami, we're going to do a multi-part presentation. Many of you may be aware that amongst Prabhupada's early disciples, there was Malati and her husband Shyamasundar, and their daughter Saraswati. So Prabhupada was very proud that when Saraswati was still a little girl, about maybe 3-4 years old, she would ask any visitor, do you know who Krishna is? And if they would say no, she would say, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Prabhupada said, that's preaching, boss. You don't need to say anything else. Do you know who Krishna is? No, he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So on this day, somebody may ask, Prabhupada says in the beginning of the Krishna book, that when persons see the cover of this book, Krishna, they may ask, who is this Krishna? Who is that girl with Krishna? So today we're going to be meditating on that girl with Krishna. So if somebody asks, who is that girl with Krishna? Our answer should be those 3 words, Krishna's eternal consort. Boss, that's it. Now, because it's her appearance day, we're going to dive a little deeper into meditating on her. But the answer is there. That's it. Krishna's eternal consort. That's it. So, are we active there? Let's see. No, are we on the right HDMI port? So today, the appearance of Srimati Radharani. Are we there? Should be in HDMI 1. Then you go to source and select HDMI 1. Anyway, while that's happening, we can recite the Prima Dani prayers. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyamani Paschatidesharine Om Agyane Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Jaina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Mano Vishtang Shapitang Jaina Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeyahang Shri Guru Shri Utapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagadatam Sahagana Raganatan Batam Tang Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Purjana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Batangscha Hey Krishna Karana Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namosate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhya Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitanang Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. We have that saying in English, it's not rocket science, but apparently it is rocket science here. All right. Are we there? Okay. So, appearance of Srimati Radharani. Radharani ki jai. Radharani appears 8 days after the new moon. That's why it's called Ashtami. Under the auspicious star Rohini. She's 1 year and 7 months younger than Krishna. Now we should understand, just as Krishna says in the 4th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Ajopi san avayama bhutanam ishwaropitam prakriting swam adhishtaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Krishna says, although I'm unborn, so the same applies to Radharani. She's not born. We're saying here that she, a year and 7 months younger. They're both eternal, obviously, but this is for pastime. They have their eternal pastimes in Goloka, and then they manifest those pastimes here on earth in Gokula. So when Krishna comes once in a day of Brahma, obviously Radharani comes along with him. And then when Krishna comes again 500 years, or just came 500 years ago as Lord Chaitanya, Radharani appears in that Leela as well. She is his eternal consort. Wherever Krishna goes, Radharani is there. So did we finish that? Yes. So as Lord Krishna expands, so does Srimati Radharani. We know Krishna expands to Balaram, and then the 4th Chaturvyuha, and then the 1st Narayan, and the 2nd Chaturvyuha. Everything's expanding from there. So whenever Krishna expands, Radharani also expands to become his consort. She's all of the, and that is stated in the 4th chapter of the Adi Leela. Devi Krishnamayi Prokta Radhika Paradevata Sarva Lakshmimayi Sarva Kanti Sanmohim Para. That Krishnamayi, Radharani, she is the source of all the queens and Dwarkas. She's the source of all the Lakshmis in the spiritual world. She's the source of Sita. All of these female expansions, all that accompany Krishna as he expands, they're all expanding from Radharani. So Srimati Radharani expands into unlimited gopis in Goloka Vrindavan. So when we say expand, it doesn't mean that there was Radharani and boom. This is an eternal situation, just like we are eternally existing, all these gopis, all these queens, all these Lakshmis. But the original source of everything is Krishna, and the original source of all these female expansions is Radharani. Srimati Radharani expands into unlimited goddesses of fortune in Vaikuntha, just as from one candle, many other candles are lit. And she has two main potencies. First, she gives unlimited pleasure to Krishna. Ekabahu Sham. Why does Krishna expand in the first place? To enjoy pleasurable experiences, pleasurable relationships. That's the whole scheme. Everything is supposed to produce pleasure. But when we deviate by our misuse of free will and we are put in this material world, then we begin to experience displeasure. That's not present in the spiritual world. There's no displeasure. When there's even apparent displeasure, like somebody is mad at Krishna, sometimes Radharani gets mad at Krishna, it's all a source of pleasure. How many of you have done Mayapur Parikrama? Put your hand up. Yeah. The Navadvip, all 9 islands, Navadvip. Yes, there's a place called Navadvip, but when we say Navadvip Parikrama, we mean all 9 islands. So on that Parikrama, when you go to all 9 islands, there's a spot that you come to where there's that mango tree that Lord Chaitanya planted, and that tree produced fruit that practically had no skin and had no seeds, so that the devotees could enjoy immediately. So when I was there, first time I went to that spot, I think it was Lokanath Swami, one of the ISKCON gurus, sannyasis at the time, told the story. I think it was Lokanath Maharaj. And it's probably from one of the Puranas. I don't know the exact source. But, you know, in the spiritual world, Krishna, coward boys, coward girls, the gopis, they're always engaged in loving exchange, but sometimes in a teasing mood. They tease each other, just like we do here, because everything here is a perverted reflection of the spiritual world. We have the tendency to tease each other. So they do that in the spiritual world also, but there's no malice, there's no malintention. It's all just fun. So Krishna was teasing Radharani very heavily, and she told her gopi girlfriend, I don't want to see that black boy anymore. Don't let him come near me. So word went to Krishna that Radharani doesn't want to see you. But Krishna figured, she'll change her mind. And if not an instant, at least by the end of the day. And the end of the day came, she didn't change her mind. The next day came, she didn't change her mind. Krishna starts to get worried. This seems to be serious. She's really mad at me. A few days went by. Oh my, what am I supposed to do? So through his coward boyfriends, he interviewed one of the gopis close to Radharani. What should I do? And a suggestion came back that you make the best garland you can make and send it to Radharani every day. And when she finally inquires who's making such a nice garland, we'll tell her it's you, and then everything will be okay. So he did that. He started every day. Krishna started making a nice garland, sending it through the channels to Radharani. And as soon as the garland touched Radharani, she would. This is special. There's something different about this garland. She would smell it. And that went on for a few days. And finally said, I have to know who's making this garland. Jai, Shri Radha Govinda ki jai, or Shrimati Radharani ki jai. So the gopis told her, oh, it's some new gopi that you haven't met yet. And she just wants to get your favor, so she's doing this. So Radharani said, bring this new gopi to me. So what to do? It's Krishna. So Krishna decides, well, I can't get out of it now. I have to go. She's calling for me. So he puts on a sari, puts on makeup, and he comes before Radharani. But he's trying to keep his face turned, because if she looks in his eyes, she'll know right away it's him. So he's keeping his face. She said, oh, why are you so shy? Look at me. And he keeps turning this way. So finally Radharani grabs the top part of the sari and pulls, and 2 mangoes come. So this is going on. It's nothing but fun, pleasure in the spiritual world. So Radharani gives unlimited pleasure to Krishna. And second, she maintains the devotees and the realm of bhakti. So the name Radha is derived from the words Anaya Radhitaha, meaning by her the Lord is worshipped. Her name is Radha, or the topmost worshipper. This is from Madhya Lila. Radha and Krishna are one, and when Krishna desires to enjoy pleasure, he manifests himself as Radharani. Again, there's no specific place and time when this happened. This is eternal. Eternally, the divine couple are there. This is from the introduction to the Adi Leela. And so we understand in the spiritual world, the name and the person. Here we say object because we have objects. But in the spiritual world, there are no objects. Everything that we would think of as an object is actually a person, just like Krishna's flute. We would say a flute here in the material world is an object, but in the spiritual world it's not. It's a person. Such an exalted personality that even the gopis are envious of the flute. We are dreaming of being able to kiss Krishna sometime in the future, but this flute is always at Krishna's lips. So Hare, when we're chanting, we should understand. Hare is the vocative form of Hara, calling out to Srimati Radharani. The word Hara, and this is all coming from Prabhupada, the word Hara is a form of addressing the energy of the Lord. Both Krishna and Rama are forms of addressing directly the Lord, and they mean the highest pleasure eternally, which is what we are hankering for. This is actually our normal existential position, is to be situated on the platform of the highest pleasure, ever increasing. It's mind-boggling when we're in the material world. We cannot even dream of that. Because we're looking for pleasure through acquiring material objects and controlling other living entities. But it doesn't work out. It doesn't give us that nectar that we're looking for. Recently I was looking at a video about India, and it stated that many, many rich Indians, people want to be rich, and many of them actually become rich. And when they become rich, the first thing they do is separate themselves from the rest of society. They live in gated communities with guards and this and that, but they're still not happy because they have to come out of the compound once in a while and they get caught up in the same Mumbai traffic or Delhi traffic like everybody else. So although they're driving a Mercedes that can go 120, 150 miles an hour, they're going 5 miles an hour like everybody else. And then, especially in Mumbai, the rainy season comes and it floods. And there was one section of the video where they showed somebody's fancy Mercedes was stuck, couldn't move, the water was up to the windows, but some cheap Indian Mahindra. So they get frustrated. They're trying to be happy by being wealthy, and it's not working. So what do? They move to America or Europe or something like that because they think it's going to be better. At least the infrastructure is better. But the bottom line is you cannot buy happiness. You cannot buy happiness. This is the way to happiness, chanting Hare Krishna, associating with Radha, Krishna, and Ram. Hara is the supreme pleasure potency of the Lord. This potency, when addressed as Hare, helps us in reaching the Supreme Lord. So this is what we want. We want to attain, again, loving eternal service with Krishna, and that has to go through Hara, Radharani. So, simply addressing the energy of the Supreme Lord as Hare, and the Lord himself as Krishna, very soon situates the Lord within the heart of the devotee. Krishna is there anyway. He's in everyone's heart. He says, Sarvasya chaha hridisani Vishnu, matak smritir jnanam. He's in everybody's heart. But we need to become aware of his presence. And this is how we do it, by seriously, with full concentration, chanting this Hare Krishna mantra. Everybody say, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Each of those words composed of 2 syllables. Hare Rama Krishna. So when we chant, that's what we should hear. Not our minds. One time one devotee said to Prabhupada, Prabhupada, when I chant, I'm thinking, and Prabhupada immediately cut him off. I said, what do you mean thinking? No thinking. Just chant Hare Krishna and hear Hare Krishna. Bypass the mind. What to speak of, bypass your smart device. Don't keep it in your hand while you're chanting. I see a lot of devotees do that. They have the phone in their hand while they're chanting. And inevitably, your mind, your eyes are going to be drawn to the phone, and you take the free finger from the right hand and you to see just what just happened. No, I keep my phone in silent mode all morning, and you can see what I'm chanting. It's over there on the shelf. I don't want it in my hand. I don't want to be distracted. It's like there's enough distraction in life. We shouldn't purposely distract ourselves from this chanting, because this chanting is everything for us. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur sung, Madaram Madare Pyopi, Madare Pyopi Mangalam, Pavanam Pavanepyo, Harinam Eva Kevalam. You should, if you don't know this, Harinam Eva Kevalam Ashtakam, you should learn it. Madaram Madare Pyopi. Of all sweet things, it is the sweetest. Mangale Pyopi Mangalam. Of all auspicious things, it is the most auspicious. Pavanam Pavanepyopi. Of all purifying things, it is the most pure. Harinam Eva Kevalam. So this is how we should think when we're chanting. When we want the pleasure, we have to be honest. We want pleasure. And that pleasure is going to come from pure chanting Hare Krishna purely. We want our lives to be auspicious. All auspicity will be there when we chant purely. And we want our lives to be pure. So pure that when we come in contact with others, they become pure. That's Krishna's position. Krishna is the supreme purifying agent. Krishna cannot be contaminated. Anything that comes in contact with Krishna becomes purified. So, Krishna's pure devotee can also display that potency. What to speak of Radharani. So, Varshana is Srimati Radharani's birthplace. How many of you have been to Varshana? Yes. It's a wonderful experience. You should go there. But like everything in India, it can be misleading because, going up to Varshana, going away from Varshana, there are all these merchants selling this and selling that, and can be a little bit off-putting. But we go there to meditate on Radharani. So, this is from the Nectar of Instruction. Prabhupada writes, of all the devotees who have developed unalloyed devotional love for Krishna, the gopis are most exalted, and out of all these exalted gopis, Srimati Radharani is the highest. No one can excel the devotional service of Srimati Radharani. Indeed, even Krishna cannot understand the attitude of Srimati Radharani. Therefore, he took her position and appeared as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu just to understand her transcendental feelings. Nectar of Instruction, text 10, purport. So how do we attract Radharani's mercy? Do we move to Braja and become a Babaji and stay by this kund or that kund? Sometimes the devotees think like that. There was one famous incident in ISKCON where one of Prabhupada's early disciples went to Prabhupada while he was in Vrindavan and asked permission to go and take initiation from some Babaji at Radhakund. And Prabhupada said, yes, go. And then when he left, Prabhupada said, black snake. Here he is. He's taken shelter, or been given shelter at the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada. Undeniably a pure devotee of the Lord, and he thinks he has to go somewhere else to learn more. So Prabhupada dismissed him. So yeah, we should not fall into this trap, thinking that we have to go and live at this kund or that kunj or this forest. No. If we follow Srila Prabhupada, the secret is to understand Radharani's mood. So what is Radharani's mood? We serve Radharani by making arrangements to bring the conditioned souls back to Krishna. This is what pleases Radharani the most. This is what pleases Radharani. And this is exactly what the International Society for Krishna Consciousness is meant for. Prabhupada said these temples are meant to give people the opportunity to come and hear about Krishna. See Krishna in his deity form. Take prasadam. So important. We can never underestimate the potency of prasadam. Prabhupada said, in Kali Yuga they're so dull. Just come and eat. Just come and eat. You will go back to Godhead. Just come and eat. There was one incident where there was one lady who was coming to the Sunday feast. But not just weeks or months, but for years. But after taking prasadam, she would go in the alley and smoke. And then after some time, years went by, and the devotees saw that she wasn't doing that anymore. They said, oh, you stopped smoking. She said, yeah. I finally realized that this tongue that I'm using to taste Krishna's prasadam, I'm violating by smoking cigarettes. So So realization will come just by eating prasadam. On another occasion, in Los Angeles, on a morning walk, one devotee was complaining to Prabhupada, Prabhupada, when we preach and we tell people about the regulative principles, they don't want to hear, they're not interested. Prabhupada slammed his cane in the ground and he said, why are you surprised? You're preaching to cats and dogs. Make them fortunate. Give them this holy name, Harinam. Give them prasadam. And then gradually they will become qualified to understand. So this is Radharani's mood, to bring the conditioned souls back to home, back to Godhead. And if we assist her, then that's how we attract her mercy upon us. So, Prabhupada says, to perform devotional service means to follow in the footsteps of Radharani. And devotees in Vrindavan put themselves under the care of Radharani in order to achieve perfection in their devotional service. I think Ramarai read this morning, right? You read that? Yeah. So, what's happening here? Seems like we got frozen. Okay. All right, so that was the last slide in that show. Then now we go to 25 qualities of Srimati Radharani. So we know Krishna's qualities are unlimited, but out of the unlimited qualities that he has, 64 are prominent. So the same is true for Radharani. She has unlimited qualities, but 25 are considered prominent. So I'll just chant the Sanskrit myself, and then we'll read the English translation. Ata Vrindavaneshvaya kirtante pravaraguna madhureyam navavayash chalo pangajalasmita charu so bhagyarekaja kando maditamadava sangita prasara bigya ramyavan navrapandita vinita karino purna vidagda patan vita lajashila sumaryada dhaya gambhir shalini suvilasas mahabhava pamokarshanatarini Gokula Prema Vasatir, Jagat Shreni Lasat Yashaha, Gorvarpita Gaur Sneha, Saki Panayita Vasha, Krishna Priyavali Mukhya, Santata Shava Keshava, Bahuna Kim Gunastasya, Sankayati Taharir Iva. So these are Radharani's qualities. Very interesting to meditate on. We should try to meditate today. We'll skip the synonyms and just go to the translation. Srimati Radharani's 25 chief transcendental qualities are: 1, she is very sweet. 2, she is always freshly youthful. So that first one is actually very important for us. Srimati Radharani is the divine mother of all of us. We're supposed to be her servants, representatives, so we should try to be sweet. It doesn't come naturally when you're in Maya, when you're in a conditioned state of life, but we should at least try. Just like Prabhupada said about Krishna. Krishna declares himself to be the best friend of everyone. So if the master is friendly, then the servants have to be friendly. So as soon as you find yourself slipping into an unfriendly mood, snap out of it, get out of it. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So 1, she's very sweet. 2, she's always freshly youthful. 3, her eyes are restless. 4, she smiles brightly. 5, she has beautiful, auspicious lines, specifically on the neck. 6, she makes Krishna happy with her bodily aroma. Now, we can't be on that platform of having the same type of bodily aroma that Srimati Radharani has, eternally expanding this inconceivable aroma. But we should try to maintain our material bodies in such a way that they don't smell bad. Sometimes we get a little neglectful in that regard. But we're a preaching movement, and we have to interact with the public. So don't neglect the deodorant. Try to remember. You have to take baths regularly, and especially in the summertime, the body needs, because material bodies by nature doesn't smell good. Neglect it for a day or two and you understand. So we have to make some endeavor to make it smell okay so we can interact with the public. So, yeah, she makes Krishna happy with her bodily aroma. 7, she's very expert in singing, Sangita. 8, her speech is charming. And we're very fortunate here in New York, I'm saying New York, I'm referring to my previous temple, in New York, that so many devotees in this temple are blessed with musical ability, I've noticed. They sing sweetly, they play harmonium nicely, or mridanga, or whatever. So that's Krishna's mercy, Krishna's gift to you, Radharani's gift. So use it in their service. We're not here to compete with each other to see who is the best. And we're here to use our God-given talents for satisfying God. Prabhupada said that's the sum and substance of Krishna consciousness. Use your God-given talent for satisfying God. So I notice a lot of you here, I don't have a good voice, you can understand already, but many of you have good voices, you sing sweetly, you play harmonium nicely, you play mridanga nicely. Krishna's blessed you. Use it in His service. So 8, her speech is charming. 9, she's very expert in joking and speaking pleasantly. 10, she's very humble and meek. 11, she's always full of mercy. 12, she is cunning. 13, she's expert in executing her duties. 14, she is shy. 15, she's always respectful, which is another challenge for us in material consciousness. It's a challenge for us to be respectful to others, even though every day practically we're chanting the Shikshashtakam. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, give respect to others, don't expect any respect for yourself. But somehow or other we keep turning that around. We want everybody to respect us, and we find it hard to give respect to others. So this is material consciousness, contaminated consciousness. Srimati Radharani, Krishna's eternal consort, is always respectful. That's one of her prominent qualities. So what's the difficulty for us? 16, she's always calm. 17, she's always grave. So, now we'll go on to the next presentation. So, we know Krishna has auspicious marks on the soles of his feet, and so does Srimati Radharani. Now, this will be a presentation of the meaning of each of these marks. Now, but before we go into that, we should understand that if we accept that Krishna is eternal, we accept that Radharani is eternal, then all of these objects, as we say in the spiritual world, there are no objects, everything is a person, but all of these objects that are on the soles of Radharani's feet and on the soles of Krishna's feet, they are also eternal. So in other words, we see one of the objects is an umbrella. An umbrella is not a new creation of this world. As they would, if you wiki, umbrella, they'll tell you, it was, developed in China and so many hundreds of years ago, whatever. No, an umbrella is an eternal, a flag is an eternal manifestation. It's not something newly created. All of these objects you see on Radharani's feet, the chakra, the fish. A fish is not some evolutionary form. It's an eternal form. Eternally there are fish forms, cow forms, tree forms. These are not manifestations of some evolutionary process. These are all eternal. So keep that in mind while we're discussing. So the meanings of the auspicious marks on Srimati Radharani's lotus feet. And this is coming from Vishwanath Chakrabarti Thakur. So the conch. Srimati Radharani's feet are like the water within a conch. They put out the fire of material existence. Next, the flag. Taking shelter of her lotus feet brings victory, guidance, protection, and success. The fish. As a fish cannot live without water, she cannot live without Krishna. The mind is fickle, flickering like a fish. Meditation on her lotus feet brings the unsteady mind under control. Whoever meditates on her lotus feet, their heart cannot be dry. And obviously I have these in PDF form, so if anybody wants, I can give it to you. The lotus. By taking shelter of her lotus feet, a devotee transcends material nature. Radharani is the original goddess of fortune. The elephant goat, which is known as Ankusha. Meditation on her lotus feet bring the mind under control and onto the right path. Barley corn or kernel. Her feet bring all opulence and nourishment. Upon attaining bhakti, our past suffering seems very small. Radharani sustains all devotees. So like Prabhupada used to always say, we don't do like the Christians do, oh Lord, give us our daily bread. We only ask for service. Because Krishna, if we accept that God is omniscient, then He obviously knows what we need, what we want. We don't have to bug Him. But still, if you're in that mood, it's better to go to Krishna than somewhere else. Prabhupada said that once in a class in New Dwarka. Said you should go before the deity and say, sir, and we all laugh because who addresses God as sir? But he said you should go before the deity and say, sir, for so many lifetimes I've neglected you. Please accept me as your servant. That's it. If you do that with as much sincerity as you can muster, Krishna will never let you go. Radharani will never let you go. So the half moon. Her feet destroy darkness and fear, more soothing than the earthly moon. Lord Shiva bows down at Radharani's feet. The moon shrinks before Radharani's beauty. Upward curving line. One should cling to her lotus feet like a lifeline. The bhakti path alone is direct and certain. Her mercy reaches down to even the most fallen souls. Disc or chakra. Meditation on her feet cuts away lust, greed, anger, illusion, bewilderment, and envy. These are the 6 enemies of the soul in conditioned life. Srimati Radharani destroys the darkness in the devotee's heart. Umbrella. And again, an eternal form. It's not something created by us in this material world. Umbrellas are eternal. Bhakti protects from the rain of material distress. She is the queen of the realm of bhakti. Those who take shelter at Radharani's lotus feet become exalted like great Maharajas. The chariot. The chariot of the mind can be easily controlled by fixing it on Sri Radha's lotus feet. Now this chariot, there's some descriptions of it. I think this particular one I'm thinking of was from the Garga Samhita, where it's described that this chariot, when Radharani wants to go from one place to another, she can bring unlimited gopi girlfriends in this chariot. In other words, it's not an ordinary ride. The club. Her feet can chastise the rampaging elephant of sinful lust. Meditate on Radharani's feet, especially on the club, because everybody in this material world is badgered by lust, whether we admit it or not. A famous example is given, many of you may have heard the story, but it's always worth remembering, that once Srila Vyasadeva gathered his disciples and he was preaching from Srimad Bhagavatam, and he selected this verse, Matra Swatra Dohitorva Navatekshasinam Bhavat Balavan Indriya Grama Vidvamsam Apikarshati. That verse says that Matra, your own mother, Swatra, your sister, Duhitra, your daughter, Navatekshasinam Bhavat. Don't sit in a solitary place with even your mother, your sister, or your daughter. So somebody will say, this is directed at some low-class person. No. Balavam Indriyagrama, the senses are so strong that Vidwan, even somebody who's very learned, can fall into that trap. So one of Vyasadev's disciples was sitting there thinking, why is Guru Maharaj giving such rudimentary, instructions? He should be giving us some higher, So Vyasadeva Srikalagya, he noted immediately the mind of that particular disciple. So the disciple, sannyasi already, this sannyasi disciple, he goes back to his ashram. It's night, rain is pouring, and there's thunder and lightning, but he can hear somebody's knocking at the door. Am I right? Yeah, I heard somebody's knocking. So he gets up, opens the door, and there's this exquisitely gorgeous woman standing there. And she says, Maharaj, I hate to disturb you, but it's raining, a storm is here, and I'm so far from my village. Can I spend the night here? Please give me shelter. So he says, no, I'm a sannyasi. I can't give a woman shelter in my cottage. So he slams the door. But then he's thinking, that was really mean. She really needs... So he opens the door again and he says, I do have an outhouse a little bit down the path there. You can stay there overnight. So he takes her down the path, puts her in the outhouse, goes back to his cottage. But now that he's seen her exquisite form, and because of the rain, the sari was completely revealing everything, he's meditating on this woman. So he jumps out of bed and he runs and he knocks on the door. He says, I've never seen a woman. I have to have you. She said, Maharaj, but what are you proposing? No, I have to have you. She said, we can, but we would have to get married. We'd have to get married. He said, okay, I'll marry you. But Maharaj, there's a storm. How are we going to get married? We'd have to get a priest. And no, I can't. Come, we'll go to the village and find a priest. So they're walking along. It's dead of night. And she says, Maharaj, I'm tired. I can't go a step further. So he says, get on my back. So he puts her on his back and he's walking. And she becomes so heavy that he has to put her down. And he took her off the back and turned around and it's Vyasadeva. You rascal. Now do you understand? So, meditate on Radharani's lotus feet will destroy the elephant of sinful lust. Earring. Krishna's ears are always tuned to the sound of her ankle bells, her beautiful singing, the rhythms of her love poems, and the intoxicating ragas of her veena. Mountain. Even though Govardhan Hill is worshipped by all of Raja, Govardhan Hill especially serves the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani. Bracelet. Her feet are always present in Krishna's hands, just as a bracelet always accompanies the hand. Shakti or spear. Her feet slash all the miserable bonds of mundane life. She is a source and reservoir of unlimited Shakti or power. Radharani ki jai. The flower. The divine fame of her feet spreads everywhere like the fragrance of a flower. They are not hard, but soft as lotus petals. Just as every fruit comes into being after the plant blooms, similarly, all spiritual fruits come into being after first blossoming at the soles of her feet. The creeper or vine. The Bhaktilata Bija grows until it gradually takes shelter of Sri Radhika's feet. Her feet are found in the forests of Vrindavan, where many vines and creepers thrive. Her feet wander amidst the vine-laden Kunja mandirs throughout Braja. Sri Radha is the supreme goddess of herbal medicine, thus her feet are the ideal medicine for curing the disease of materialism. The perfection of meditation and the source of all blessings are Srimati Radharani's lotus feet. Srimati Radharani ki jai. So if you don't have a graphic of Radharani's lotus feet, I can direct you where to find one. Personally, I have a big print on my wall. So especially today, we should try to we should desire to please Srimati Radharani, and that mood, first of all, is to clean the temple. It's her temple. She has a right to go into anybody's room not just today, anytime, but specifically today, make sure your room is clean. Make sure your room is clean. Clean everything, meditating on Radharani's lotus feet, that she could put her lotus feet there at any moment. So clean everything nicely. What to speak of the temple room, and all aspects of the temple should be. Cleanliness is next to godliness, and it will please Radharani tremendously if we make that effort. And of course, as stated in the beginning, the real mood is to give this Krishna consciousness. And Prabhupada said, I was just hearing Prabhupada said recently that preaching is so simple. Whatever you like about Krishna consciousness, share it with others. So if you're still on the platform of only liking prasadam, salti maha, eva kevalam, samosa naste. If you're on that platform, then just preach about prasadam, wherever you be. Tell them to come to Kadamba Cafe or Govinda's Canteen. Whatever you appreciate about Krishna consciousness, give it to others. If you're really into chanting, like many of you are, you can sit down for hours. I mean, Krishna bless you. You can literally sit down from 1 to 7 and chant in Father Duffy Square or somewhere. Then that's what you should transmit to others. Give them the chanting. Try to interest them in chanting. Whatever attracts you. Personally, I was first attracted by the philosophy. So that's what I tried to share with others. Of course, it fomented quite a few arguments because my friends at the time, my parents, my family, they were not into it. My father said, I understand you're interested in spirituality, but why do you need a guru? Figure it out yourself. That's like telling a sick person, why do you need a doctor? Figure out what's wrong and cure it. No, you can't. If we're suffering in the material world, we cannot cure ourselves. We have to find Tasman Guru Papadeta. You have to find a guru, a genuine guru, not one of these fake ones like Prabhupada was saying recently. This fake guru who was supposed to be incarnation of Krishna but ran off with his secretary. No, not that kind of guru. Guru like Srila Prabhupada, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, who can give us the truth about our material situation and how to get out of it. Can give us the truth about the divine couple and how we can attract their mercy. So today is Radharani's appearance day. Again, all day long she'll be meditating on Radharani, cleaning, cooking, whatever we're doing. And this evening will be a festival. So there should be quite a few guests coming, even though Long Island is also having, so some of our normal guests may go, regular guests may go there, but we still should get a full house. Now, after the last big festival, Janmashtami, I was informed that somebody who attended the festival called the police and said that there were too many people in the temple and they weren't feeling safe. Hello? Give me a break. That's like getting on the subway at rush hour and calling the cops to tell them that the train is crowded and I don't feel safe. What kind of mentality is that? If you can't stomach being in a crowd, then don't get on the train during rush hour. Wait till some other time. If you don't like being in a crowded room, don't come to a Hare Krishna temple during a festival. It's common sense. Don't come to the temple and then disturb the proceedings by calling the police because you don't feel safe because it's crowded. That's actually mean, very mean spirit. So I don't know if the person who did that can hear me. Either they're here in the temple or they're online somewhere. Don't do it. Tonight we want to have everything flow smoothly for the pleasure of Srimati Radharani without any disturbance. We don't want any policemen walking in the temple with their shoes on. Don't call the cops. If you don't feel safe because it's a crowded temple, go. Leave. That's the best solution. But don't try to stay in the temple and have the police come and send everybody else away so you can feel safe. Better that you leave so everybody else can stay and enjoy the festival. Radhe, Radhe, Radhe Govinda Jaya, Radhe, Radhe. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Srimati Radharani Ki Jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Hare Krishna.